Combat strength is critical to your success in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Today, I've collated all the best early game weapons and gear and things that you need to know to take on Pandora. Let's go! Let me know your favorite weapon in the comments down below. We'll start with a super easy shotgun that you can get very early in the game, and it comes from the Unsung Hunter side quest, which will unlock almost as soon as you get to Home Tree. Once you get there, there'll be a bunch of side quests you'll be able to do from that clan, and one of these will be the Unsung Hunter. Now, this side quest will send you on a little investigation, and eventually you'll end up to clear out an RDA site, and at that site, you'll see a little chest at the end after you've cleared everyone out that will contain a shotgun. Now, this is probably the fastest and easiest way to get a quality shotgun early in the game. It has storm ammo, which will stun enemies, which is very good against amp units because it stops them from attacking you, but it becomes even stronger when you combine it with the eject ancestor skill, which you can grab pretty early in the game as well. And essentially what that does is anytime an amp unit is distressed, like it's stunned or something like that, you can use a melee attack to instant kill them by ripping out the RDA unit. And so with the storm ammo, you can just shoot them once, which will stun them, and then combine it with a melee attack to rip out the RDA unit. And this works on literally every amp unit. Like, there's a couple in the late game that are armored that this doesn't work on, but pretty much until that point you'll be able to do this trick on all the amp units and be able to clear them out very effectively, because they do deal heaps of damage, and it can sometimes be difficult to take them out quickly, especially when there's lots on you, and this is a really good way to do it. Plus the shotgun itself, like if you're just using the normal shots as well, is quite powerful in its own right, so you've got that value there as well. There's plenty of great gear that you can get, but one of the easiest ones to get that's actually probably one of the best waistcloths that I've used pretty much through the entire game, like I think I'm still wearing it, is this legendary waistcloth that you can get from completing the Sturdy Wings quest chain. So this is a spinner's waistcloth that you must craft yourself, but you'll get the design from completing this quest chain, and there are 3 parts to it. So after you've completed the initial narrative throughout like the Enhare clan and the Kingla Forest, you'll get access to this Sturdy Wings quest chain, or the first part of it. Now essentially what you have to do here is grab the Kingla Queen and take them to like a new home in the trees, and you'll need to do this 3 times in order to be able to get the spinner's waistcloth. Now what's really good about this as well is that you obviously need a waist crafting material in order to create this like actual piece of gear, but you can get legendary versions of that right at the location that you complete this quest, or at least epic depending on, you know, how good you are with the RNG gods. But it's an incredible waistcloth that you should absolutely grab as soon as you can, and in order to get all the parts of this, you essentially need to do one part and then wait a bit of time to pass before the next part becomes available to you. You can essentially just go off and do some other quests or whatever, and then go back to Itawa at the top of Home Tree, and she'll have the next part of that quest for you. And once you've done all 3, you'll then be able to get this legendary waistcloth, which you can then make multiple versions of. Say if you like out-level the version you've made, you can then just make another version with that exquisite design, because it is actually a really quality item to make. Next, I've got a legendary heavy bow that comes with storm arrows again, which is also great. Now the benefit to this as well is that not only do they give you the lightning heavy bow, you actually get the design as well, so you can actually make your own later on if you want to. While heavy bows do have like a slower load time to actually like draw the arrow back, they do deal a heap of damage when you combine that with the storm arrows like we touched on earlier. Like, it's just an incredible weapon to use. Now to get this, you need to complete the tech support side quest, which comes from the upper plains. In order to unlock this side quest, you'll need to clear out a couple of field labs by actually just like completing the little puzzles there, and you'll get a call on the laptop there that'll be like, hey, can you go and investigate this thing over here? And then by going to do that, you'll get access to the side quest, and then you'll be able to complete it. It's a very easy side quest. You just sort of have to like look out for an area and like defend it for a period of time, and then you'll get the bow towards the end of the quest as well. And then again, same as the waistcloth, because you've got the design, you can then make other additional copies of it yourself later on if you want to. But the benefit here is that you get the bow straight away. You don't have to do anything. You get the bow and the design, so it's win-win. There is plenty of other options out there as well. What I found to be like the best NaVi weapons and like the best vendor in general is Solek. So he has some amazing rare and exquisite designs you can grab for free just by talking to him, and he also sells some of the best NaVi weapons in the game that you can also buy as well. You will have to craft the designs obviously, but the high quality weapons and weapon mods that he sells you can buy for RDA duty rosters. These duty rosters is like a resource that you'll get from the RDA bases, occasionally by hacking terminals, These can then be traded to Salt Lake for the mods and the weapons if you want to grab some high quality weapons. Depending on where you are in the story, Salt Lake may or may not be available as a vendor to you. He will be at the Resistance HQ if he is a vendor, but he may be off doing something else, like just depends where you're at in the story. In the meantime, you can check the NaVi villages, as each clan's main village has 2 vendors, one for gear and one for weapons that you can trade in clan favor for gear, mods, also designs. Now, the designs are free, so obviously just like grab them, but you can then buy gear and mods from them as well if you just want like a quick, easy upgrade. I would definitely recommend to buy mods because you can equip mods to multiple things and like you'll like essentially always need them. So getting like exquisite and rare mods that you like is better than buying weapons that you may out level. But if you just want like a quick, easy weapon, you can obviously buy them from the clan vendors as well. If you're looking for the best RDA weapons, they come from a vendor at the Resistance HQ. Now, they are always available, like basically right from the start of the game. And this vendor at the HQ will sell you rare and exquisite RDA shotguns and assault rifles, as well as mods for them for spare parts. Spare parts are collected all across Pandora, but they're typically best found at the RDA bases and sites in those small yellow containers. You'll collect a ton of these throughout your playthrough without even realizing, and you can use them at this vendor very easily. I would also recommend to keep some of the spare parts, like don't use all of them on the vendor because you actually use them to craft special arrows as well. But this vendor is great to just buy RDA weapons if you like that variant, and you'll typically won't run into heaps of RDA weapons throughout your playthrough, right? Like for the most part, they're pretty rare in terms of like quest rewards, and you mostly find like bows and stuff throughout the world. You don't find them heaps, but if you just want to get RDA weapons and you prefer to use them, this vendor will sell you them for spare parts, and they're actually some of the best in the game that I've still found to this point, depending on where I've been at my playthrough. But you could also buy like the best exquisite mods from them as well for those weapons. Like they are hands down the best that you can find easily just by trading in those spare parts. And the RDA weapons are quite worthwhile using. Like they do have special ammo types, like we mentioned with that shotgun, that you can use as well, and they do deal a decent amount of damage if you prefer that style of play rather than using the bows. But I sort of tinker between them. Like I'll often have a shotgun on my weapon bar, but for the most part I do use the 3 different bow types because I just find them to be a little bit more like used to my play style, and like switching between the short bow and the long bow, etc., just like feels more smoother to me than using the RDA weapons that don't have aim down sights. Now, the best weapons and armor and everything in the game hands down comes from crafting, right? We've touched on designs a little bit in this video, but the crafting of your own gear is absolutely the best way to get the best items in the game, right? Especially once you've got the Apex Master Crafter skill. So once you've maxed out that skill line and you get that Apex skill, you also get additional bonuses to the gear that you craft. Now, you can get those designs from any of the vendors and side quests and things that I've mentioned throughout this video, but you'll need to find the relevant parts. And the best way to do this is via your Hunter's Guide. And I highly recommend to look for those high quality parts. So it mentions where you can find the rare versions. Obviously go to those locations, see if you can find the parts, and focus on the biomes. Make sure you're in the right location. The more health value and damage value you get from gathering the right conditions, then the more damage or health then the crafted item will eventually do. Now, I covered a lot of this in yesterday's video, so go and watch that. I'll link that here if you want to go check that out. But Salt Lake's weapon designs are amazing late game. His exquisite bow designs that he gives you are just so strong, so highly recommend going and building those. But the last thing that I'll tell you guys is that the actual best weapon in the game you get at the very start of the game. That is the staff sling, right? You get this super early, and the damage will always scale with you. The downside to this weapon is that crafting the various items that you need to like make the traps is a little bit cumbersome because you need specific parts. But the thing with this is, throughout your entire playthrough, these traps will instant kill practically every amp unit that it comes in contact with. So the thing here is that if you are struggling with combat or something like that, whether it be in stealth or active combat, you can just throw these trip mines at enemies and it will explode and instant kill them. You don't have to do anything. Like there's no, different versions of the staff thing you have to get or find or anything like that. There's a couple of skills that will give you a little bit benefits to it, but for the most part, you can just equip the staff sling these trip mines at amp units and instantly kill them and just have a great time, right? So there's plenty of fun to be had there as well. But let me know your favorite weapon in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is NorZZa, and I hope you have a great day.